Welcome. My name is Andrew, and this is the Who Dat Discussion, a New Orleans Saints podcast, where we talk about all Saints news, opinions, and reactions. And this will be another off-season edition of the Who Dat Discussion, as now we are, moving into this kind of, I'm not going to say completely dead period, but before minicamp and training camp, and after the draft, there's definitely this time where it's kind of like free agency, but not many people have gotten signed. It's like that it's pretty dead time, but we still got content for you once a week right now. But we're gonna actually get more content. I think more and more. It was just a really busy time for me the last few months, but now my schedule's opening up a little bit, so I'll be able to produce more content. I'm hoping that I can get two, pieces of content out a week. So a podcast and film study podcast, and I'm going to start going live too. Podcast interviews. I'm hoping to get some of those for the rest of the off season here. But we're just we're working to get better here at the Who Dat Discussion, and I just have to hear a lot of feedback and stuff like that from fans of the show, fans of the Saints, and I think that's really how we're going to start this podcast because I know it's a dead time, but I still want to put out content. I've been a little busy in the last couple of weeks, but now I think I'll be able to put up a lot of content, and I think it'll be a really good time where we could just talk some Saints football and get ready for this 2019 season. So last weekend was the Saints rookie mini camp, and I think we're going to start there in our news segment. And really, the one thing that really stood out to me when watching all the highlights and stuff, and I think to a lot of Saints fans, is Chauncey Gardner-Johnson. He is, I think, a real star in the making here. He's a playmaker. He's really all what you want at that back end. He can play all different positions. He's a playmaker. He's a ball hawk. He played really good against Elijah Mack. He played really good against wide receivers. The Saints they've been putting him in the nickel cornerback role as well to play that really slot role. He was the star to me here. And I think it was just a really good move by the Saints to bring him in. And he looks like he's going to be a really good player, a ball hawking player, and a player that the Saints will use, and he's going to be an impact player for the Saints. I mean, hopefully, I think he will be. Look, he may not get a lot of playing time, but if he does, I think he's going to be really good depth for the Saints. I think he would start on many teams in the NFL, and he's kind of like the third string for the Saints. So that's how things I think the Saints are. There's so much depth, and it's not going to end now. And to me, this back end is almost as good as any in this league because Lattimore, I think, is going to get better in that third-year jump. Eli Apple, we're hoping that he could just stay the same. Maybe even he gets a little better because he's still a very, very young player. In the slot role, you have Patrick Robinson coming in, who was the Saints' best corner when he got hurt. So, to me, and then also you have Gardner-Johnson, P.J. Williams, who came in, played really good. And then you still have Ken Crawley, who was a starter 2 years ago on a playoff team. Remember that. And, then you have Justin Hardy, Chris Banjo, kind of the special teams guys, Saquon Hampton. But to me, these guys can play, and it's a really good back end. And I'm really happy that, when you're looking at the bad Saints teams, not bad, but the 7-9 teams from 2015, 2016, 2014, it was the back end that really killed them. And now when you have guys like, B.W. Webb out there, and not just to single out him, but he just came to mind first. Jarius Byrd, you have those guys that come to mind. Brandon Browner. You're not going to win many games. So when you have solid players and Pro Bowlers like Marshawn Lattimore, you have solid players like Marcus Williams, who's I think will come back and have a better year. I think Bell is going to come, and Von Bell is going to come up and have a pretty good season as well. And I think that this Saints team is ready to, and especially this back end, is ready to blossom into one of the best in the league. And I wouldn't be surprised. Not that it wouldn't be a breakout season, but to me, I wouldn't be surprised if they had a really good season. And that's going to allow guys to get to the quarterback like Cam Jordan. Maybe he'll have a little better of a season. Marcus Davenport to open up. Because I think that's where I'm a little worried for the Saints at this point is that defensive end spot when you don't have that third defensive end. They're giving Davenport basically the load here, which is an interesting call. I'm not saying it's bad or good. I'm just saying, you're giving a young player a starting role, and he's the first-round pick, and you traded a lot to get to him. So now you're going to have to see what he can do, and I think he will be able to do it. And I don't, I'm not saying, bad move by the Saints. I'm not questioning it. They obviously see a lot in Davenport like I do, and, it's time for him to show his worth. But that's definitely the place where I'm looking at the Saints and that's even more than wide receiver because, who's really the third Saints defensive end? They don't really have one. And, as much as, I like some of the UDFAs that I said in the past, you can't say that they're going to be, straight out, starters. None of them are going to be. So it's going to be tough, when maybe – and what if Davenport goes down hurt? Got hurt last year. Hopefully that doesn't happen again. I would pick up a defensive end, and someone said in the comments, but the Saints may have to pull up a mid-year trade like the Jaguars did with the Rams, and to get a Dante Fowler, a player like that, because I mean, look, it is. I mean, they're expensive though. Defensive ends are expensive. Ziggy Ansah got more than $10 million, which is maybe a little pricey, but there's still players out there for the Saints to get. So who would I like the Saints to pick up at this point, or do I want them just to kind of stay straight and maybe get a wide receiver? When you look at the wide receivers, they're probably better wide receivers out there, but when looking at it, do the Saints, what's the need more? I think it's defensive end, but I think the wide receivers, the better talent, is out there. To me, you have Michael Crabtree, who is still out there. So he's a player that, to me, is basically a better version of Des Bryant, and he's just out there waiting for someone to sign him, which is, to me, just really interesting. You still have Ndamukong Suh out there, which I think is an option at defensive line, defensive, tackle. Look, he's a really good player. We all know that. And, I mean, I don't know why he hasn't gotten signed at this point, because he's just a really good player, and maybe he's holding out for money. But to me, that's kind of interesting. Andre Branch is a player you can kind of bring in here, but look, he's from the Dolphins. He, to me, is just one of those players, situational guys. Not going to be one of those big sack guys that's going to come in here and start from that second role. He's probably just going to be a guy that could come in here and just play. Get some sacks. 2018, he only had 2 sacks, but in 2017, he had 5 sacks, 6 sacks in 2016. So he's around that, 4 to 6 sacks. Not last year. He didn't have the best of games last year. He didn't start, though. So he's definitely on the lower part of, his career. So, do you want to bring in a guy like him? I don't know if you do. You have other guys like Corey Liggett if you want to get another defensive tackle, but I don't know if the Saints need him. It's kind of interesting, but I do see where the Saints need guys. I do see where, the Saints may go. When looking at Doug Baldwin's now on the market, that's kind of interesting. I think he's going to retire. That's just what I'm feeling there, unless someone can find a spot for him. Maybe, I mean, look, with the Saints want him, I don't think so, but you never know. Terrence Williams still out there. Maybe you go after him from the wide receiver position. But that's I think what you're looking at there. Those types of guys, and kind of to shift over to the wide receiver position. Ted Ginn said he would bet, I believe, $10,000 to beat anybody in a race. He's definitely still confident about his speed coming into 2019, even at an age, I believe, 35 now. I mean, isn't that interesting? He thinks he could beat anybody, and I like that attitude coming in from him, because the Saints are going to need him. He's vital, especially if the Saints don't bring another wide receiver into this. They need Ted Ginn to step up like he did in 2017. Didn't have the best year in 2018, got hurt. So maybe comes up in here, has a really good game, and I'd like to see that. I think Ted Ginn, I love Ted Ginn, so if he can keep on having a good year, stay healthy, the Saints won't need, no one will be talking about how they could have got a wide receiver, because Ted Ginn, if he plays at the level that he's capable, I mean, he's definitely worth that wide receiver too, but he's a little of a question mark, but we will see that. This is, I think, good for him to say that. Came out confident, and I think that's just really good stuff there. Also, there was this trade speculation. I got to go into it because it is the kind of this slow season, so I do want to say that there was this, it kind of made the trade. It was on the Ringer NFL show, and he drew up a trade that they would like to see the most, and that was the Saints trading for A.J. Green for a 3rd and 4th round pick. A.J. Green, to me, is, I mean, he's a great player to put opposite Mike Thomas. He's a player that can stretch down the field. He can beat possession, could go in the red zone. You put him in with Jared Cook, and it's one of the best in the league. That's really what it is, because I mean, no one's even better than that. You have 2 Pro Bowl type players coming in here, and to me, there's just no way you stop them. This getting done is very unlikely, because I don't think they would trade AJ Green, especially at this point of the offseason. But if possible, 3rd and 4th round pick, I'd do that. Really, you got to. It's just, I mean, AJ Green, he's put up the 1,000-yard seasons, put up the 10-touchdown seasons. I mean, he's only, he's the Saints have $8 million cap space, and his salary is like, $11 million. So they do have to, just find a little way, which wouldn't be a problem there. Money wouldn't be a problem. I think it's really the draft picks. I don't think the Saints have the capital to get the draft pick here. So will it be possible? Yeah, I guess it is, but I don't know if it's likely. But I just want to throw that out there because that would be really interesting. I think if the Saints could get it, that would be, that would be nuts. And look, I mean, that would put the Saints on a fast track to a Super Bowl, in my opinion, to putting, a star receiver opposite to another top 3 receiver, Mike Thomas. So to me, just Really, good stuff there. Also, two Saints players made the Pro Football Focus top 25 players under 25 in Alvin Kamara and Marshawn Lattimore. Want to say that. Also, the Saints did say that they're going to dust off the Jimmy Graham playbook for Jared Cook as he's coming to New Orleans. And this is really our main topic for the week, as will the Saints and will Jared Cook have the same output as he did last year, or same as Jimmy Graham? When looking at Jared Cook's stats, Pro Football Focus first, they ranked him the 9th best tight end, top 10 tight end there. I think he's a little better than that, but that's just me. He had 68 catches, 896 yards, 6 touchdowns. That was with a really bad Raiders team. They didn't get in the red zone a lot. They didn't get in the end zone a lot, so 6 touchdowns. I think that's going to go up. I think the catches and yards will go down, touchdowns go up for Jared Cook, and he's going to be the player. I think he's the difference maker this offseason. And Bleacher reports that the Saints got a C for the offseason, which I disagree. I think it gets a BB+. If they do anything else right now, it goes up to the A range. But to me, he's that difference maker that the Saints are going to get, and to bring a Super Bowl trophy to New Orleans. It's very possible that he can help the Saints to the Super Bowl. We all know that, but he can go out there and number one, he can high point plays. Look, we did a whole film study on him. He can high point balls. He's a playmaker. He has some dirty stiff arms, and he's fast for a tight end. He's everything that Jimmy Graham was in his prime, and now Jared Cook's now putting together at the end of his career. He had all these physical intangibles early in the season, early in his career with the Packers, the Patriots. I believe he was on the Patriots, right? Yeah. And now he's putting it all together with Drew Brees now, and he did last year with Derek Carr, and now he's getting this year with Drew Brees, and it's going to be a work of art. I can't wait to see this because Jared Cook. Look, right now, if he puts up 60, 50, even 55, 60 catches, 750 yards, and 10 touchdowns, we'd be set. We'd be set to put that cross Michael Thomas with Ted Ginn, with Keith Kirkwood, with maybe a little Humphrey Jordan. I'm ready for this team right now, and I think that they'd be ready to win, especially with that. He wasn't on the Patriots, excuse me there. He was on the Rams. I'm sorry there. I guess I got that a little mixed up. With Jared Cook, but I do think that he's a player who's going to come in here, and I think with the old Jimmy Graham playbook, with Drew Brees throwing those jump balls to him, with Sean Payton, gonna make plays to get him open. It's the best scenario for him, and he knows that. And I think he just can't wait. Everyone can't wait to start. And I think it's really we're ready to go with this offense, and I just really, really can't wait with that. There, so now really going to our main topic with Jared Cook, with these the Saints offense. How will the Saints offense compare to last year's? Because the Saints offense last year was amazing until the playoffs, then it kind of tapered off a little bit. So what do we think about the Saints offense? We're going to go position by position and seeing where will the Saints go up, go down, or stay the same. We're going to start with quarterback with Drew Brees, and I'm going to say he's going to stay the same here, guys. I think maybe he's going to be more like Drew Brees in the playoffs. Maybe it won't be as much Drew Brees in the regular season, who was an MVP type candidate, but I think he will be ready to play. I think he's either going to be the MVP type candidate that we know and love, or he may be a little worse, but I don't think much. Is he going to be on the decline? Is he not? We will see it this year, and I think this is really how the Saints are going to look at their future. Do they think Brees is ready, or do they think that they're going to have to go to Teddy Bridgewater next year or the year after? We're going to find out next year. And if the Saints win that title, I think they will. If they don't, and Drew Brees playing well, I think he'll keep playing there. So I think that is all really for the quarterbacks. I think Brees is going to play same level. Taysom Hill, I think he should play at the same level as well. I wouldn't be surprised if he, just gets maybe different packages, because now, a lot of teams have seen what he can do. Now let's maybe give him a couple more throws. Let's maybe have maybe a reverse with Taysom Hill, blocking a little more. I think all that stuff is definitely possible with Taysom Hill. On to running backs. I'm going to say the duo will get a little worse here. Mark Ingram, Alvin Kamara. We know that duo was amazing for 2 years. You bring in Latavius Murray, you ship out Mark Ingram, and there's a little of a downgrade there. I think we all know that. That's what I'm saying. Like, I see why the mainstream media won't give the Saints high grades, because they lost Mark Ingram and they bring back Latavius Murray, who's obviously not as good, and that's not going to look good in the Nationals' eye, but they don't really think Jared Cook's very, going to be like an MVP move for the Saints, which I think it will be. So I don't know whichever position you want to go in. I do think, though, look, it was a little of a letdown here. Latavius Murray, though, when you're looking at its two stats, Mark Ingram last year wasn't really that good. I'm sorry. When you're looking at it, he only had, how many touchdowns did he have? Let's look here. He had I'm just looking it up now. I think he had 5 or 6, but yeah, he had 6 touchdowns. Yeah, and look, that's not going to cut it 645 yards, which is really not that good when you're looking at Latavius Murray's numbers. I mean, they're just around the same here. He had only 2 more attempts, and he had like 20 less yards, and he had 6 touchdowns, just like Ingram. So, and also they had like the same amount of passing receiving yards. Excuse me, there. I do think that they're very, very similar players, and I think Latavius Murray is a good two-back to Alvin Kamara. Obviously, he's not as good as Ingram, but he's that textbook guy that you put behind your Alvin Kamara type player, and it really works out. And I think it's time for Alvin Kamara to take that third-year jump and to become a top 3 running back, solidify it. I know you can make the argument for it. Well, now let's make it like he will be. Give him that workhorse load and show how he's going to be a stud in this league. I think it's his time to shine as well. Some of these young players are going to want big contracts. They got to step up. Michael Thomas, he did step up in his third year, played amazing. Now it's time for Alvin Kamara to step up even more than he did last year, because I know he stepped up, but now it's time for him to become that top 3 player and solidify it, just like Michael Thomas did. That's the same, with guys like Marshawn Lattimore, same with Marcus Williams. Von Bell did last year, solidified his starter mentality. Now it's Marcus Williams' turn. Got to solidify that. It's his time now. You got to solidify Marcus Davenport. I know it's not his third year yet, but he's got to solidify that defensive end slot. This is going to be a year for a solidification for the Saints, and I think that this year, especially a running back, maybe a little bit downgrade, but maybe we don't see a loss in production because Alvin Kamara goes up in production. But based off last year, I'm going to say that it will be a little lower, not much, but a little bit worse off for the Saints at running back. Now to receiver, I think the Saints, they're probably going to be around the same, maybe a little higher, because I do think Ted getting healthy is going to help them out. But it's really the same group there right now. They didn't add anything, so I'm going to call it kind of a push there. The tight end group, though, got, to me, a lot better, guys. A lot better. I think adding, first of all, they basically changed the whole group, besides they kept Josh Hill, but they added Jared Cook, Pro Bowl type player. He's a Pro Bowl player. It's not like he's a type player. He's a Pro Bowl player. He's a solid starter. He's proven in the NFL. He's going to put up his touchdowns. He's going to put up his yards. He's going to be the MVP type move for the Saints this offseason. I do think that, he's going to be the Mario Davis of last year. I really do believe that there, and it's going to be huge. And then you're looking at Elijah Mack. To me, he's a good player that in the right system, he could be, a very solid player at year one as kind of like that second or third option from the tight end position. He's good depth. To me, just really good. I think it's a full upgrade over last year's. To me, really good job. Left tackle, push, because it's the same player. Maybe hopefully a little more because Armstead stays healthy, but we don't really know that. Left guard is Andrews Pete, same thing. Hopefully he stays healthy, so maybe it's a little more. Then the center is where you're really looking at your downgrade with going from Max Unger to Eric McCoy or Nick Easton, but I don't know how much of a letdown this will be because, Max Unger wasn't really as good last year. We all know that. Also, you got to look at, I think Eric McCoy coming in, he could have that Ryan Ramczyk type impact right away. He's probably going to start right away. It was a steal for me for the Saints. So to me, really good job, for the Saints to put 2 guys in there ready to go because this makes the Saints depth go up. I guess we'll go to that next. Saints depth at that position will go up. I think really good job. Now you can have that Senio to Calamente type player with Nick Easton. Really good job of the Saints to get 2 offensive linemen this offseason. Really good job there. Right guard, Wofford should be the same Pro Bowl player. And then also Ryan Ramczyk, he's going to his all-pro now stuff. He's got to solidify it, make that third-year jump to even be a top 3 player in this league, top 3 left tackle in this league. I think he can definitely do that as well there. So that's really what I'm looking at, guys, at the offense. I do think that this offense is going to come up. I think they're going to play good. And I think, they're getting ready for, to me, a similar type season. I think same production, similar production. They're going to be around, 28 points a game, 27 points a game, maybe even in the 30s. But it should be enough to win the game. So I think the defense, I really do. I think this is the year. I think the Saints put it all together, have another 13-3 type season. But this time, not even go there, finish the deal, and take it all the way. I'm feeling quite confident about this year, guys. I got to say that. What do you guys think, though? Do you think that the Saints will have a downgrade in, quarterback? I think Drew Brees will get worse. How about running back? Maybe you think Alvin Kamara will, cause an upgrade there. Maybe you think losing Max Unger is really bad for the team and that, they're going to lose a lot in, leadership and stuff like that. what do you guys think? Tell us in the comments below. On YouTube, just type them down below. On iTunes, you could type it into either a comment or in a review, or you can also go onto our Twitter at the Who Dat Dis. Just tweet at us or tweet under, maybe comment to our video where we always say we posted our video. Maybe you say under there, just say what you guys thought about it. That'd be really helpful, for me there. So with all that said, I think it's time to wrap up this podcast. If you like this podcast, if you like this episode, you can follow us on Twitter at the Who Dat Dis, on Instagram at Who Dat Discussion, on Podomatic at the Who Dat Discussion, and then also you can subscribe to our YouTube channel, iTunes channel, Spotify channel, and Google Play channel at the Who Dat Discussion. On iTunes, I said before, leave a review. Leave a 5 stars. That's just really, really helpful. If you guys give us those 5 stars, we can give you more content. On YouTube, please leave that comment as I said before. Also, hit that thumbs up button. Hit that notification bell if you haven't already. Definitely subscribe. All that fun stuff there. And guys, I do think the Saints will have a great season. I said 12 wins. I do think that. Let's look at the offseason. You don't have to say what the team's going to get, but I do think between 11 and 13, I think the Saints could get. And I think I do think that they're set. I do think that, guys. Will I, obviously, if you want to be the best team in the league, maybe they're not the best. Maybe I'd take the Patriots over them right now, but it's tough. I think they do need a defensive end badly. And not badly, but I think to win a Super Bowl, I think they're going to need a defensive end. Maybe that happens during the season, but I think they're going to need an upgraded defensive end. Maybe that comes in-house. But we'll see there. Same with wide receiver. I think they're either going to have to, Tegan's going to have to play at that number 2 level again, or they're going to have to go out and get a receiver. Maybe they pick up Des Bryant, who started to run and stuff like that. He's working out. So we'll see what happens. Maybe they got Michael Crabtree, which I'd like to see. But, I think we'll definitely see in the upcoming weeks what the Saints are going to do. I don't think they're completely done. I think they probably will make like 1 or 2 more moves. But for now, it's definitely that slow time. So if any breaking news came out, I would come on here, guys, probably live. I really do want to start that once a week. I want to start a live show because I think it's really cool. And I finally I'm getting all the equipment for it and the camera stuff and everything. So I'm trying to make a space for it, with all my Saints memorabilia and stuff. And if I can find a place like that, I'd love to do live videos, do videos with a lot of maybe not live videos, but I definitely want to do a live video every week eventually. And then also I want to do just videos on YouTube. Just talking Saints and all that fun stuff. Plus the podcast. I think we're trying to build a little more here, and I think we're also going to work on some visual stuff also. But it's going to be over these next couple months. Definitely, I want a lot of upgrades going into this 2019 season, as the Saints have had some upgrades going into 2019. So, with all that said, I want to say thank you, finish the deal, and who dat? KK, you are safe, yeah.